Folks, today is September 30th. It is the last trading day of September of 2020. And this is the end of day review. And most of the time you hear me on here providing an end of day update. But today I also have Aaron with me. Hello, Aaron.
Hello.
So Aaron and Michael are two of our key hosts of the Option Moneymaker Live Trading Room. And today I was out of the trading room most of the day, and Aaron was kind of taking the lead and identifying the signals, and she was making sure that everything got updated in the spreadsheet. So I thought it might be interesting to just have Aaron here if you have any insights, Aaron, into today's trading. Let's first of all start with just making sure that people who like to do this can take a screenshot of the 7 a.m. forward trading activity. The last trade we took was at 3:30. And I actually heard Aaron say this, and it was a very smart comment, in my opinion, that if you are still trading at 3:30, it's a good example of what can happen when you expose yourself this late in the day to a full stop risk of 20 points. So our last trade of the day ended up being a full stop out of 20 points. So what you're going to hear us talk about is the importance of the personal trading plan and kind of checking what your performance is throughout the day and just deciding consciously rather than just proceeding unconsciously as to whether or not you want to keep trading during the day. So what was your overall impression today, Aaron, of the trading day?
It was it was a little sluggish in the middle of the day. The morning had a couple trades that didn't follow through, but it was pretty normal morning. But then we hit the middle of the day, and if you could, do you have the ability to pull up a chart?
Do I have the ability? Yes, I do.
Wonderful. It's right where your cursor is. That's exactly where I want it.
Of
Right
course.
about there. You can see the series of about 7 to 8 bars where we didn't move. We didn't trend. We were just
That
very
right in
much
there.
sideways, butting right up against that 11,500 level. We kept hitting it repeatedly, but not moving above it. Then eventually we broke slightly above it and then completely reversed off of that. So that area in there was a little bit frustrating. Of course, we had suggested locking in break even because there were profits on the signals that came at those times, but we were in them for quite some time, and we could see that even though there was long entries, we just weren't moving the direction that we needed to, or at least the amount that we needed to at least lock in 5 points. So
And if you're just becoming familiar with the NASDAQ 100 futures, this is a 5-minute chart that we're showing here and what Aaron was trading today. And you can see pretty much until we broke out, the biggest bar, biggest range we had during that period of time was about 16.25 points. That's nothing for NQ futures. We're used to bars like this over here that had a range of, geez, that was almost 70 points. And we see that a lot of times at the open of the day. The bar that we really broke down then ended up being a 30,
30,
30 point roughly bar.
yes.
So the thing about
And
the
that's
adapt,
what we were waiting for
yeah, we were
because,
waiting for that breakdown.
yes, after that point, we were consistently hitting 5 or 10 points of profit on every single trade that we took from that point up until that last trade that we just talked about, the last momentum of the day.
So when you look at the trade detail, what you're going to see here, if you're not familiar with this, is the time of day. We usually scroll back to 7 o'clock as our start time. There are trades before that we track from 3 a.m. Eastern forward, and we do that because we're gathering data for the future implementation of, well, the possible future implementation of some auto trading that we've been working on with New Cycle Trading. But you can see then whether we were going long or short. You can see then the strategy that we were using, and you can see what the profit or loss was per trade. A lot of these we were locking in 5 points. We had a few that were 10, we had a few losing trades. And right in that period of time that Aaron's talking about, you could see here we had a couple back-to-back 20-point losses, and then a lot of 5-pointers. Had a couple of, as Aaron mentioned, inserting a break-even stop just to avoid putting more risk out there. But then a lot of 5-pointers. Those 5-pointers can add up. So, you know, at this point in time, let's see, at 7 this morning, we were down 18 points coming into the 7 o'clock trading time. And by noon, we were down 15.5 points. So 18 of that came from the pre-7 o'clock time, which means basically we had a lot of trading going on and we really weren't producing anything. And that can happen. And then in the afternoon, if you take a look at from, say, 12-ish on, we went from being down 15.5 points to being up 29.5 points. That's a nice reversal. So there was a big difference this afternoon. The key is staying the course, taking the signals, and just leaving your emotions in check.
So what you're showing right now, the right-hand summary, I actually was curious earlier because I was noticing we were having these 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. So I was tracking 11 to 4, and it was up 50 points, and then we had the last momentum. Of course, that gave back 20 of that, but that was a 30-point back-to-back-to-back trades of a nice amount of profit there.
Yeah, and I think it's a great example of how you need to, and this is probably one of the hardest things for traders, avoid being discouraged if earlier in the day you see some drawdowns, because that doesn't guarantee that the day is going to end that way. We show in our tracking all of the trades that took place from 7 to 4. Well, 3:30 we kind of cut it off, but you know, basically the trading day from 7 to 4. And so there are two categories primarily that we track and we forecast in the personal trading plan. And we do this to help you understand how to build a financial forecast for your personal trading business. And so one category is designed for folks who have a limited amount of time to trade. It's 9:30 to noon. And that is taking all of the signals. There are 4 primary signals that we trade in the adaptive entry system. And so we ended up down 5 points. Well, that's not really a surprise now that we've kind of rewound and looked back at what happened this morning. And the other category that we trade is from 7 to 4, taking just the trend bias trades and continuation signals. Trend bias and continuation. Those are the two signals that basically align with what the market is telling us it wants to do.
It's another telling point on that category. For the whole month of September, it's the least amount of trades that we've had. We were in a long trend bias, blue bars from 8:25, and I think we finally got a break around 12:45.
Yeah, right here. So 8:25 was the first signal, and then it just kept going until that white bar came on at 12:35. But I think, yeah, 12:35.
And so 12:45 was the start of the next trend. And so the majority of those 10 trades are going to probably be the continuation, because we just really didn't have, we only had a few trend bias trades today.
Yeah, very limited. That's a good observation too, Aaron. 10 trades today. You can just look back on September. It's the fewest number of trades that we've had. Bottom line for me is we ended up positive. It wasn't a huge positive, but it was a positive. So we're going to take that information and we're going to go to our personal trading plan. Now, if you're brand new here, the personal trading plan is an opportunity for you to build a forecasting tool for yourself that will help you understand where you are at any point in time in terms of your performance And also, if you were to take that performance run rate and forecast it out, you can get an idea of what your income could potentially be for a 12-month period. So we do this for two different categories, as I mentioned, the 9:30 to noon and then the 7 to 4. So we're going to start with the 9:30 to noon. And we were down 5 points today. Now on NASDAQ 100 futures, each point has a $20 value per contract. So if you're down 5 points, you're down $100. We were trading 3 contracts, so we're down $300 today. We only did 8 trades, but each trade was 3 contracts, so it's 24 contracts. Okay, now here's the important work you do. You've got 4 numbers showing up here. This number is telling you how many weeks are already behind us in terms of a 52-week financial forecast. So we're through 12.6 weeks, so basically 12 and a half weeks. This number is telling us of the 12 and a half weeks, during that 12 and a half weeks, how many losing days were there? So in this category, we have 22 losing days. And so now, that number all by itself is immaterial. It's just a factor in our run rate. So you can't get hung up on individual data points where you think, well, you know, I've lost 22 times in 12 weeks, and you develop a perception or tell yourself a story about what that means. The only story you need to focus on is these 2 numbers right here. This number is the average of all of our winning days, and this is presented to us in points on the NASDAQ 100. This is the average of all of our winning days, and it takes into account the rate of losing days relative to the number of weeks that we already have behind us. Takes that into account. This is the rate, the average of our losing days. And again, it takes into account that so far our run rate has established a rate of losing 22 times over a 12 and a half week period. So those are our run rates. Right here is the work you need to do at the end of each trading day when you are using the trading plan. These 2 numbers right here are going to forecast forward for the remaining weeks in a 52-week forecast. So we're through 12 and a half weeks. That means we have about 39 and a half weeks left in a 12-month plan. We want to make sure that these numbers are as closely aligned to the actual run rate as possible. And again, the run rate takes into account the frequency of losing day occurrences relative to the number of weeks that we've seen. So I'm going to put 22.78 in here for our winning days, and I'll put minus 34.29 for our losing days. That means that now our go forward plan aligns perfectly with what our experience rate has been so far. Okay, so that's the most important thing you can do every day, is to make sure that your 12-month forecast aligns perfectly with your actual experience rate. We have maxed out 3 contracts, meaning we will not allow the plan to scale beyond 3 contracts. And if we continue to operate at the frequency of losing days and at the averages that we have established, our income, potential income over a 12-month period is $170,000. And that's having started with $5,000 in the account. And we limit our contracts to the amount of margin that is required per contract being no more than 10% of the balance of our account. Where we trade at Infinity Futures is just $500 of margin per contract. So in order to trade 3 contracts, that's $1,500 of margin. I need a minimum of $15,000 in the account in order to scale up to 3 contracts. Scroll back and you can see we started with 1 contract. We scaled up to 2. The plan is doing this automatically for us, and then we're on 3. I've put a limit of 3 in there because I think it's a very conservative number, but you can make this whatever you want. If you decided to make it 5, that means that your potential forecasted income for 12 months is just under $261,000 as opposed to potentially $170,000. So you're in control of this, and you're in control of this variable as long as you are forecasting based on reality. If your experience rate is such that you are on pace to hit a number you are satisfied with, then you have a great financial plan. And Aaron, don't we frequently have folks who tell us early in the day that they're done trading?
Absolutely. We had a few of those this morning. They made their profits prior to market open.
And what helps them understand that, folks, is they know what their target is for the day. If somebody comes into the trading day and says, well, I'm trading 3 contracts today and my goal is 23 points, and they're at 20 to 25 points and it's the first half hour of the market day, we frequently hear from them that they're done for the day. They've hit their target and they have peace of mind that they're not putting any more risk in, but instead they're putting in enough risk to earn the income that they desire, and they can set the number of contracts at whatever they choose.
What I like about this plan the most is I think anybody would be happy starting with 5,000 and ending up in a year at, I think it was 170,000 is what you were showing.
170,000, yeah. So the second category that we also track, so we track 2 different ways. Most of you would have a single trading plan, but we're presenting this in 2 different ways. One is, what if you only want to trade in the morning, regular market session hours up until noon? The other one is, well, we have a lot of people that start early and they'll start trading around 7 o'clock and trade all day. So in that category, we did 7 3/4 points. It's not huge, but it wasn't a loss. 7 3/4 points times $20 a point. It's $155 times 3 contracts. So $465. And we did 10 trades at 3 contracts each, so it's 30 contracts. So by putting in the number of contracts, you're factoring in the cost of your commissions and cost of doing business, basically, for trading. Go back up here. These numbers are going to be different. It's different signals. It's only 2 signals of the 4 signals that are presented, and it is different time frames, so the results are going to be different. Each trader will have personal variables in building their trading plan that will be unique to them. How many hours a day do you want to trade, or moments a day do you want to trade? What signals are you going to trade? As long as you're building a plan that is realistic based on your own goals, then it's personal to you, and that's all that matters. All right, so we've had 14 losing days in 12.6 weeks now. So, we're just slightly ahead of 1 a week. And we're going to take our averages and we're going to plug them into our forecast. So 33.55 is our positive day average, and minus 26.88 is our negative day average. Maintaining 3 contract max, $5,000 was the starting balance. We're 12.5 weeks in, and we see that our forecast now for a full year is about $328,000, just under $328,000. This number can potentially change on a daily basis. It depends on what your performance is. So let's just play a what-if scenario here. What if you don't achieve an average of 33.5 points a day, which you have been for the first 12.5 weeks? What if going forward, you only did 25 points a day? Maybe you had something significant happen and it reduced your average point production? Well, first of all, nothing takes away from you what you've already achieved. And if you plug this into your trading plan and you can see what the future income is, and if you happen to be somebody who thought 5,000 to 246,000 wasn't sufficient, you can adjust contracts up by 1 or up by 2, whatever you choose. This variable is something that you are very much in control of. So I'm going to unwind that because I think that our 33.55 is realistic because it's based on our actual run rate. But like I said, if it changes, you're going to change your future forecast. Once you've built your first year, your forecasting becomes much easier because then you have a full 12 months of history in terms of your averages. So at that point, you're much better equipped to be able to build your future forecasts for years 2, years 3, and so on. This is all about building a personal trading business. That's the way we look at it. So I want to go back to the tracking tool here. This, by the way, has given us an opportunity to track every single trade in real time throughout the market day, throughout our trading room. Erin helps me track this. If I'm not in the room, she's maintaining it. And I give her full credit for this feature right here. There's some automation in this tool, which is really helping us guide our traders to understand where and when they can focus their attention. So, for example, we know what all of our averages are. If we trade all signals 7 to 4, and for the last 77 days, we've been averaging $1,350 a day. There have been 8 losing days. If we trade only 9:30 to noon, those same all signals, we're averaging just under $380 a day. If we trade just the trend bias, the other category we track, we're averaging about $628 a day. So Erin, I did this a little earlier. I was actually doing an overview presentation on this whole system. And I said, so what if you were somebody who wanted to trade, but you could only trade from, say, 10 to 1? What Erin did was she built into this tool a feature that allows us to evaluate for you any time frame and any set of signals. So in this case, we're looking at all signals. And so if I look at the summary, that 10 to 1 category, well, it was down 5 points today. Okay, so not a productive day for you, but still shows you what you could accomplish just in that 10 to 1 time frame.
And you're averaging 23.25 points a day.
23 and a quarter.
Yeah, it shows it on the daily summary.
Yes, on a daily average during that time frame, if that's all you have available to trade, you can average 23 points a day. There was another time frame I was looking at also. So what if you were someone who had time maybe before a job or running your business in the morning, you could trade from 8 to 10. I don't know what the answer is, by the way. I'm just looking to see here. Okay, 8 to 10. You could average just under 15 points a day. Today was 16.5 points. 16.5 points, just 8 a.m. Eastern to 10 a.m. Eastern for 2 hours. Well, 14.64 points times 20 trading days is 14.62 points times $20 a point times 20 trading days is about $5,800 a month. And on a 12-month basis, that's about $70,000 of income.
And that's on one contract, correct?
Thank you. That's trading just one contract. So I periodically hear people, and Erin and I talk about this quite a bit, who say, I need to get a part-time job, I need to make a bit more money, or I'm thinking about starting a side business over here. Well, here's a side business where you can decide what hours to work because, Aaron, how many hours a day does this market trade?
Almost 24, about
Yeah,
23.
just under 24 hours a day. You can pick and choose when you would like to trade. So anyway, that is information that we can provide to you here in the live trading room. Just ask us what time a day, just ask us what the results would be based on the time of day that you would prefer to trade. That's a really cool feature, and I was so excited the day Aaron shared that with me, the automation she'd built in here, which helps us help you. Anything else we should highlight, Aaron, for today?
I don't think so. The main points were the profits that we had at the end of the day, the trend that we are in for a very long time today.
We're in for a long time today.
Yes. It is interesting if you wanted to look at 7 to 4 with fractals, all signals.
You read my mind.
I've added 2 more categories, so it's not the bottom anymore.
I've noticed that. So when Aaron talks about fractals, the adaptive entry system consists of 4 primary signals. You've got the trend indicator, momentum indicator, continuation, and consensus. But in addition to that, these inverted V's and the green inverted V's and the red V indicate fractals, and breaking above and below those price points can offer a trader additional opportunity for trades. We talk about those and call those out and help people identify them every day. So if we were to look at the all performance from 7 to 4, because this up here does not include fractals, if we look at it including fractals, the average daily profit is just under $1,700 versus just under $1,400. Makes a difference.
It's a little bit to your day.
Yeah. And look at what today was with the fractals, 7 to 4. This is without fractals at minus 2.5 points, and this is with fractals at 51.25 points. Fractals work extremely well when the market is trending because you just keep taking the next fractal that is above or below where the trend is headed, and they can be very, very productive. So my summary of this is when we show you the overall averages and we show you what we're translating into the personal trading plan, my view is we are showing a conservative view of the opportunity because we're not including the fractals in what we report. We're discussing them, and in a review like this, we'll share with you what that includes, but it's just basically more opportunity. We want you to get comfortable with the adaptive entry system. We want you to get comfortable with the personal trading plan. We want to help you any way we can in the live trading room where we provide real-time ongoing training, education, and support. So Aaron, thank you for adding your insights today, and thanks for doing such a great job of managing the live trading room today.
You did forget one part about what we provide in the live trading room.
Yes, what is that?
That's entertainment. Because if you're going to trade, you're not in the live trading room, generally you're trading alone in a room, you're focused on your charts. There's something about being in the live trading room. Mark Michael and I talk all the time that if we weren't doing this, if we weren't hosting a live trading room, we'd still be together trading every day, because there is a whole different mentality when you have people around you and cheering for you and wishing that the price is going to go in a specific direction and rooting for that price, and it just makes the day go by a little bit faster when you have people with you.
Well, and you hear someone else comment, you don't actually hear them, but we share with you comments somebody else has made about here's where I am for the day. And it will prompt other members of the trading room to ask questions about what they might be doing differently. So it's a good place to be, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I'll close on this note. Craig in our live trading room just shared with us that I traded today all signals and fractals, excluding momentum signals. Now see, there's a slight variation that he has adjusted for his personal trading and building his trading business. And he traded from 4 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., one contract. He made 48 points. And Craig, I really appreciate you sharing that with us because it addresses the question we frequently get: does this work outside of regular market hours? And the simple answer is absolutely. You can trade 23 hours a day. So thanks again, Aaron. Thank you, everybody, for being part of our community. We will be back again tomorrow.